Welcome to FPL Selection. Today we'll review the 10 matches from Game Week 11 to see which players caught the eye and have been added to the watch list. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks. So first up was Spurs 2, United 2. Bit of a dull game this one, even with the 4 goals. Draw was probably fair as neither side created many decent chances. I think Spurs are in a void at the moment. They've got a tough run of fixtures for the rest of the year. None of their defenders were sort of hitting the DEFCON regularly. The attack's got no clear talisman to choose from. So yeah, I just don't think they've got any really great options. I mean, Palhinha could be a shout as a cheap midfielder for 5.5. He's hit DEFCON in the last 4 games, and he's actually only had less than 3 points in only 1 of his 10 starts this season. So if you're looking for something cheap and just a tick over, it might be an option. For United, it's the same story as every week, really. Avoid the defence. Pick Mbeumo if you want a short-term pick with high potential for goals. And Fernandes would be sort of the longer-term pick who's going to tick over with more regular points from sort of a mixture of goals, assists, DEFCON and bonus. I think if you're looking for a differential, you could go for Cunha. He's only 4.4% owned. Sesko's going to be out for around a month, so I think Cunha is going to get a chance to play a bit further forward more often. He's shown a few glimpses so far at United of the player we know from Wolves. So yeah, it could be a nice differential there and double up on the United attack with good fixtures coming up. And Everton 2, Fulham 0. It was a comfortable win for Everton. Could have been more, but for some close offside calls. Fulham barely created anything of note and looked like a team to target against for clean sheets. They've got quite a poor attack really, and I think Muniz is injured now, so yeah, it might be one to go against for clean sheets. And Jai still looks like the Everton pick to own. He's been really unlucky for several weeks now. Everton strikers just not finishing the chances he creates. It's both Beto and Barry now, both guilty of missing some sitters. He's going to AFCON around game week 16, so you could also look at Grealish or Dewsbury Hall. Obviously be more dependent on those two, when he does go to AFCON. But I think we need to see a little bit more from both of them in the coming weeks if we're going to go down that road. For Fulham, I still think Anderson's the only real pick. He's decent value at 4.5. He's hit DEFCONs in 7 of the 9 games. He's played 90 minutes this season. Just not getting the clean sheets, Fulham. Few and far between. And yeah, it's probably only going to be 3 or 4 points most weeks, which, is not too bad for 4.5. Then West Ham 3, Burnley 2. A very back and forth game, this one. Both teams had good spells in the game. Some poor goals to concede from a defensive point of view for both teams. But West Ham get the win, and they're starting to look a lot more like a Nuno team now. Low possession, but just effective when they get their chances. Paquetá had another good game. He got the assist for Souček's goal, and he was a lot, involved in a lot of the good stuff from West Ham. But just good if we could see him starting to burst in the box a little bit more often, like we were seeing earlier on in the season. On the flip side, Bowen got no returns again, but he was really unlucky. Like the last few weeks, he could have easily had some big scores. He was there to tap in the 3rd goal here, but Walker Peters just snuck in ahead of him. Another sort of unlucky week for him, I think. And the other pick was Potts. He's a budget midfielder at 4.4 million. Looks to have won a place in the starting 11 now after starting the last 2. He's played well. He's hit DEFCON in only an hour in this one, so could be an option if you're sort of looking for a bench player for your midfield. He's going to be first off your bench maybe. Get you 2 to 4 points. Could be ideal. From Burnley, I think Dubravka's the obvious pick as your second keeper. But you could also look at Twanzebe. It's 3.9 million. Hitting DEFCON fairly regularly. Yeah, it could be one just to sit on your bench. And Sunderland 2, Arsenal 2. I think Sunderland rode their luck in this one. Arsenal had a lot of good chances, but Sunderland just defended really well. A lot of last-ditch blocks. I think Arsenal will be disappointed with the 2 goals they let in. It was quite sloppy, really, from a defensive point of view. And yeah, I think they'll be a bit disappointed to drop the extra 2 points here. Xhaka once again hit the DEFCON. He's continuing his run of only scoring less than 3 points once this season. Really good value at 5.1 million. If you want to sort of set and forget cheap player, I think he's perfect in that respect. Mukiele picked up an assist for Ballard's goal. He's been getting into some really threatening positions in open play the last few games. He's got the high potential for DEFCON. I just think he might be worth paying the 4.2 million now over the likes of Alderete and any of the other budget defenders. We'll have to see what happens when Alderete does come back. He should be back this week, I imagine, from his concussion. So we'll have to see how that looks, with him in the side potentially as well. And for Arsenal, Saka finally got the points he's been threatening to score for a few weeks. He's putting up really good numbers in most games now for both Arsenal and England. I think he's probably the best Arsenal pick now that Gabriel's out injured. He's always been Mr. Consistent, and we're starting to see that now with the minutes and now getting the returns. If you're replacing Gabriel, I think Timber over Calafiori at the moment, just on the fact that Calafiori's apparently been carrying an small injury for a good while now, so probably makes sense to just go Timber just to be a bit safer on the minutes. But it might be worth waiting a couple of weeks just to see if the Gabriel injury is long term, and potentially one of the other Arsenal defenders might emerge. Could be Ben White, Mosquera, Hincapi, any of them could end up starting quite a few. Might be worth the saving on the money. So we'll see how that plays out. In Chelsea 3, Wolves 0. Very one-sided this one. Could have been more than 3. Wolves offered pretty much nothing, and Chelsea didn't really have to exert themselves to get the win. And Pedro's got 2 goals in 2 games, took his chance really well. He's definitely seeing more chances in the last couple of games. You can see there's a big difference there. They've got decent fixtures to come. He could yet become the talisman for them. We'll just have to wait and see, but he certainly can finish when he gets in the positions. It's just getting him in those positions, I think, is the key. Enzo had another great game. He was unlucky again not to get anything. He had 5 shots. He put a great ball over the top for Garnacho. Should have finished. It's probably not the best time to buy now. Palmer coming back soon, but he's certainly got the short-term potential there as he's playing really well, and I think he's been unlucky not to get some more returns recently. I think Sanchez is probably the Chelsea defender to go for. He's the cheapest, most likely to start the majority of the games. I just don't think any of the Chelsea defenders are worth the extra money at the moment. There's no consistency on the DEFCONs. They've got the potential to be rotated over the busy December schedule. I just think I'd probably go Sanchez over all the others at the moment. And for Wolves, complete avoid really until we see how they look under Edwards. But I just wanted to note, after calling him out in the last video, was Monetti. He came on, he got a really good chance near the end of the game. Just showed, his strength and his pace. Just dragged the shot a little bit wide, but he's hitting DEFCON fairly regularly, and it could be an interesting one if he makes it into the starting 11 for Edwards. And Villa 4, Bournemouth 0. A funny game this one, as it didn't feel like a 4-0. Bournemouth had some good chances, they had a penalty saved, but Villa maybe just edged it and just got a bit of icing on the cake with the long range goals, I think. Rodgers was unlucky not to get the assist for the Onana goal. He's looking back at his best now, and Villa got some good fixtures to come, so he could be a really nice differential with only 5% ownership. And then the other Villa player I'd look at is Buendia. He just keeps getting the returns when he's on the pitch. He's only getting limited minutes as well, and he just seems to keep popping up with points. Showed his quality with his free kick in this one. They've got Leeds and Wolves in the next 2, so it could be a nice short-term punt there. For Bournemouth, Senesi continues to be the king of DEFCONs. Just turns a 4-0 defeat into a 2-pointer. Would have obviously been 0 points in the past, so minimum 2 points, but always starts on 4. Just very good pick there. And Semenyo, still the go-to attacker for them. He missed the penalty, but the fact he took it ahead of Evan Nilsson means he's at least second in the order behind Kluivert. And Kluivert's only playing limited minutes at the moment, so there's a good chance you've got sort of, the last 30 minutes of every game you're going to get Semenyo on the penalty. I think he'll likely come good again soon. Just, a little bit of a dip in form at the moment. In Brentford 3, Newcastle 1. Another poor away performance from Newcastle, and another good home performance from Brentford. They always create plenty of chances at home, and they definitely deserve the win here. Thiago got a brace. That takes him to 8 league goals in 11 games. He's the clear talisman for Brentford, and probably the second or third best striker in the game at the moment. He's only 6.3 million. I think he's ahead of a lot of midfielders at the moment in terms of consistency. So, yeah, I think he's a really good pickup at the moment. Hickey was back from injury, played 70 minutes. I think he got some minutes for Scotland as well over the international break. Brentford have got some good fixtures coming up from game week 16. So, could be a nice budget option there for your bench at 4 million. For Newcastle, Pope's still the defender I'd go for. He's had no clean sheet in the last 4, but he keeps getting the save points. I think that's 8 times in 11 games. So, that's an extra 2 clean sheets over the season so far with those extra 8 points. So, yeah, you've got to be happy with that if you're a Pope owner. And that's something to look at, I think, even with the lack of clean sheets recently. From the attack, I still think Voltemade is the pick. He's sort of quietly ticking along with the points. Got an assist in this one. But he's possibly only short term as Viss is not far away from returning. And, he'll be competing for minutes. And Palace 0, Brighton 0. Really wasn't a 0-0 game, this one. I think both sides should have had at least one goal. Both missed really good chances, and Palace probably had the better efforts on goal, but Verbruggen made a few nice saves. I think Mateta's still the Palace attacking pick for me, but Sarr just looks lively every week. He's dodging points on a regular basis. I think he's going to get a big haul in the next few weeks because he just keeps getting in the right positions, and it will come for him at some point. I'd still go Munoz from the defenders, but only just at this moment. His attacking potential is still the best in the league, but I just think the defcons from the centre-backs, they're really starting to add up now, and you can see how close they are all in total points at the moment. For Brighton, I think I'd avoid the defence, even after 2 clean sheets in a row. They just seem to give up chances every week. You can see, everyone plays against them. They always get at least one big chance. From the attack, I'd still only go Welbeck, I think, just ahead of Minter. It's a decent short-term punt, good fixtures, he's on penalties. But I just think Brighton is so hit and miss, it is really hard to see any long-term picks from them. And Forest 3, Leeds 1. Forest probably deserved the win in the end. Leeds just didn't create much after going in front. Gibbs White has 2 goals in 2 games, and he's really starting to find some form now. We called him out a few weeks ago and saying he was, getting into some great positions, and yeah, it's just continuing, and he's just starting to see the returns now. Anderson continues to be decent value at 5.3 million. He's picking up defcons regularly. Now looks like he's potentially 3rd in the order for penalties, so it's a nice little bonus for a cheap midfielder like that. Hutchinson could be one to keep an eye on for a few weeks' time. He's looked really lively in the few cameos I've seen from him this season. Been surprised he's not played a little bit more, actually, under any of the managers. He had 2 assists in this one, and yeah, he's definitely going to be knocking on the door for a start at just 5.4 million. For Leeds, I think it's not, just wouldn't really go there. You could maybe pick up one of the budget defenders. Bijol's the cheapest, so I'd probably go that way, to be honest. And City 3, Liverpool 0. City deserved the win, but it was definitely closer than the 3-0 suggests. I think Van Dijk was unlucky to have his goal disallowed. Gakpo missed a very good chance as well. And City's first 2 goals certainly had a bit of luck about them. Haaland's still the obvious number 1 City pick. I don't think there's an obvious second attacker to choose at the moment, though. I'd maybe look at O'Reilly in the defence. He's looking interesting. He's had a goal and 2 assists in his last 4 starts. He's actually been in the starting 11 for all of City's 5 clean sheets this season. So, he's looking attacking on the eye test. He's got a good chance playing regularly with, the fact they've been getting good results when he is in the side. He's only 2.2% owned. So, especially when Aït-Nouri goes to AFCON, there's a good chance he could have that left-back spot locked down for a little while. So, it could be a nice one to take a gamble on. For Liverpool, I think Van Dijk's a good pick for the next sort of 10 weeks and beyond. Liverpool have got really good fixtures, so you'd expect the clean sheets, to start coming. They're going to sort it out. I can't imagine they're going to go the whole season being, very scatty in defence. He's been good for DEFCON so far, and when they play the weaker sides, they're probably going to be a bit more direct, so it's a good chance he's going to get more DEFCON anyway with the clearances. So, yeah, I think he's the one to go for in their defence. From the attack, it's a real lottery at the moment. I think Salah's probably not worth the money. you know, unless you're on like a free hit or something and you're going to captain him, just a lot of money for what we're seeing at the moment. But they've got such good fixtures. I think I'd be tempted on Gakpo. Slot's always favoured him. He does keep putting himself in the position to score. And like I said, he should have scored in this game, really. And he does like to shoot a lot. So I think you're going to have to accept the odd 20-minute cameo when the fixture congestion starts in December. But yeah, there could be a nice differential there if you're willing to sort of take the risk and make sure you've got a decent bench. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.